Welcome, everybody, to TPH Live, 10% Happier Live, our daily sanity break that we do from my living room and the living rooms of some of the greatest teachers on planet Earth. This is meditation for any level. If this is the first time you've ever meditated, this is a safe space for you. If you've meditated, if you're a pro, also, I think you'll find that you get what you need here. We do 5 meditation questions, and then we set you on your way. And our teacher today is Diana Winston, who is the Director of Mindfulness Education at UCLA's Mindful Awareness Research Center. And she's the author of several books, including The Little Book of Being. And Diana, really happy to have you here. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here too. Thank you.
So you've got a 10-year-old at home. I've got a 5-year-old at home. And one of the things you wanted to emphasize today is how to be part of a family without violating federal statutes. So what's on your mind?
Well, I'm sure we're all experiencing it. I mean, of course, some of you are not living with family at this moment, but it's intense. I mean, it's a pressure cooker that we're all living in these homes together. And I was thinking about it that the way in which this virus is revealing like the fissures in the society, the way the healthcare system is, or the way that, how poverty is being so, it's like showing so clearly right now. The same things are happening individually. And it's like your family can do fine when people can get out and go away, but when you can't, you get to see all the cracks in the family. So the places where where it's challenging, where it's a little challenging, are going to be more challenging. The places that were challenging for a while are going to be harder. So for instance, for me, bedtime has always been an issue with my daughter. For a decade, we have fought over bedtime. So it's not like now it's just going to be easier because I'm home all the time. It's harder. And so what's really important is using the skills that we have to manage our hearts and minds and to be present with our kids in a way that can be really like a moment of practice when we need it. And that can look like a lot of different things, right? Like, how can we practice in the moment? So when my daughter the other day, it's 11 o'clock, and she's still not asleep, and I'm suddenly like furious because I'm exhausted. And of course, when we're under stress like this, we're tired. And by the way, this goes for people who are angry at your partner or the roommate that you're living with. It doesn't have to be your kid. But for me, when I just sort of was about to lose it, I can remember mindfulness. Like I can remember to come back into myself. And that's where I love to practice stop, which is sort of an old technique that is really helpful. And it stands for stop, take a breath, observe, and proceed. And that is, so we would stop and then just take a breath and then observe, noticing what's happening inside me. So my stomach is clenched, my jaw's tight, my hands are tight. I just breathe a little bit and allow myself to be present with myself before I can even be present with her. Like I'm activated, I'm having this intense feeling, and it's this time of moving towards myself instead of moving away from myself. You know what I'm saying? Like moving inward as opposed to externally. And it can be very, very helpful.
Yes. Yes, I wish I did it more often, but I think it, at least in theory, could be very, very helpful. So maybe I'm doing it 10% of the time, which makes me not a total hypocrite. So let's actually dive in and do a little bit of meditation and then take some questions on the back end. I'm going to mute my microphone because yet again, I've got a howling cat in the corner of the room. So let me mute myself and take it away.
Okay. All right, so we're going to settle back and begin a meditation in just whatever posture you're in, whatever is comfortable to you. Hands resting where they're at ease. Your eyes can be closed, but if that's not comfortable, you can leave them open, looking downward. Taking a breath or two. Just allowing yourself to settle. Let's bring our attention into our bodies right now, noticing the weight of our body on the chair or couch, wherever you are. Might notice feeling your feet against the floor, what that feels like. And just notice what's happening in your body right now. So in a way, we're doing this stop practice right in this moment. What am I observing? There's heaviness and lightness and warmth and tingling. There might be comfort, discomfort, ease. What's happening in my body right now? See if you can let whatever is here be here. Just let it be here. And breathe. And even in the midst of discomfort, we can be present, aware of our bodies. And then shift your attention to your emotions. Notice what's happening for you emotionally right now. Are you feeling anxious or sad or irritated or happy? Or maybe nothing at all. Oftentimes we're not feeling anything in particular. So if you just want to notice what's happening in your body, in your emotions, letting whatever is here be here. From the perspective of mindfulness, whatever we're feeling is okay. It's just what's here. What we do with it's another story, but just allowing the space to feel the emotion. And breathing. You know, you might even notice what's happening in your mind right now. Are you thinking about something you have to do later? Is your mind kind of going over something like a dog with a bone? Just replaying it? Does your mind feel alert, peaceful, overcaffeinated, sleepy, present? Just notice what's here for you. Letting whatever is here be here. There's no way to get it wrong. It's just what's happening. And now notice your whole body present. Body, emotions, thoughts. Just right here. You might notice our breathing coming and going. Can you feel your breath in your abdomen, or your chest, or your nose? The sensations of the air moving through your breath, moving through your body, tingling, warmth, coolness at your nose, rising, falling at your abdomen or chest. And just noticing the breath. And then your attention might wander away and bringing it right back to the breath, or to any of the things that we noticed before, the sensations in our body, our emotions, or our thoughts. What's present? Can I be present with this? And so if we were to practice the stop practice I mentioned at home, it would just be, we would stop and take a breath. We can do this now. Just take a breath. And then observe something that's happening inside me, body, emotions, or mind. Or it could even be something external like sounds or even a sight. Take a few more breaths to allow things to settle. And then we proceed, coming back into ourselves, present, with a little bit more kindness. So take one more breath and notice your body present here. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes or end the meditation.
Thank you very much. Great job. I got a note here from Jessica, our producer, saying that several people in the chat are mentioning, several people on the YouTube chat are mentioning that they've behaved in ways they're not proud of. Me too. Could Diana offer advice for moving on from incidents where we act like jerks to the ones we love?
So I've done it too, just so you know. And especially in these times where we're under tension, stress. I mean, you've heard the phrase, I'm sure, under stress, we regress. We're all regressing. So just assume it. When you do something, you have an opportunity for two things. When you do something that you regret, you have an opportunity for two things. One is to repair it in some way. So sometimes it's just a simple thing like when I blew up at my daughter at bedtime the other night, 15 minutes later, I turned to her. She still wasn't asleep at 11:15, and I said, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I was spoken in a way that wasn't helpful." And the second thing is to really be compassionate with ourselves. Just to know that because we're under the stress, we are going to do this stuff. So it involves like a little bit of forgiveness. Just you don't have to do like a full, oh my God, I forgive myself for all the things I've done, but just like a gentle kind of checking in with yourself, like, yeah, I blew it, but you know what? I'm under stress and it's okay. And I'm okay. So even bringing a little kindness to yourself in this time could be helpful.
Sarah asks, what are some simple mindfulness practices that we all should be doing throughout the day?
Okay, so that stop practice that I taught you, I'm going to say it again. It's stop, take a breath, observe, and proceed. We can do that at any moment in the day because being mindful isn't hard. It's remembering to be mindful. That's the hard thing, right? So if we can, in the midst of our day, suddenly, oh, wait, stop. Okay. Doesn't have to be like we're agitated or something. It could just be to remember to be mindful. Then we can stop, take a breath, and go through that. And we're bringing mindfulness into this moment. Another really helpful one for me is just feeling my feet. Wherever I am, just taking a pause, feeling my feet. And I sometimes ask myself this question, how am I now? How am I now? When I do that, it's like checking in and like, right now I'm okay. What the problem is all the things I'm worried about. That's the problem. But in this moment, my mindfulness practice is, how am I now?
Sally asks, the more alone I've been, the more I want to be alone. I'm willing to completely retreat. What can I do to re-engage?
Well, it seems like for people who are really isolated, and there's some people, I know for some people this is like an introvert's fantasy. They're so happy. They're not disturbed by anybody right now. There are plenty of introverts also, or people who are alone who want to be with other people, and there are people who are with other people who are dying to be alone. But just to say, I think when things go back to normal, it should probably you'll find yourself wanting to be with other people. I don't think that it's gonna be too much of a problem. But also, if you're interested, there's a lot of these like online retreats where people are actually practicing throughout the day, guided by a teacher. So it might be something for you to check out.
Yeah, I would also say that engagement, connection is a muscle, just like any other muscle. It's a skill, just like any other skill. And so you might want to find people, especially people who could really use the engagement that you feel might be isolated or struggling in some way, and make it a regular practice to reach out to them. Video better than audio. Sasha asks, any advice for kids who may be experiencing stress? Example, my 10-year-old daughter is experiencing sudden stomach aches, and I think it may be a manifestation from anxiety of the unknown.
Yeah. Well, of course, our kids are feeling this too. And of course, they're even feeling our anxiety as well. So it depends what your kid's open to. I mean, some kids doing meditation, there's wonderful resources out there for learning mindfulness with kids. What I find when my daughter, just like Dan, she does not like to meditate. In fact, she likes to make fun of it. She thinks it's silly. But what I can do with her is I can bring mindfulness to her when she can't. So, or when she doesn't know how. So, for instance, if she's feeling really anxious, I can go up to her and I can say, "Oh, it seems like you're really anxious." And she'll say, "Yeah." And instead of me trying to fix it, instead of me trying to change it, instead of me trying to make it better or tell her she shouldn't be feeling it, it's like I'm offering this quality of mindfulness to her in the moment. It's a quality of compassion. Yeah, I want to be here and be present with you in your fear. And that usually can be quite helpful. And by the way, it's the same thing we can do for ourselves. We don't need a kid to be doing it. We can bring this mindful compassion to ourselves in the midst.
My son did ask me to teach him to meditate the other day. First time ever. And
really?
I didn't know how to teach a 5-year-old to meditate, so I tried a bunch of things. They seemed to all fail in the moment, but I heard him telling somebody else later that he thought it was fun, so who knows? James William asks, "Hi, Diana, how can I be more mindful of my emotions?"
Yeah, so that's great. That was kind of where we were heading. This is where mindfulness is so extremely helpful, right? When we're dysregulated, that we can bring awareness to what we're feeling. And so in a very simple way, I'll say, just when you notice that you're having a strong emotion, see if you can give it a label oh, there's fear here or sadness, and notice what's happening in your body. My heart is racing, my stomach is clenched, my jaw is tight, and see if you can bring a little bit of awareness and some kindness to yourself. I mean, this seems so important right now. We keep kind of coming back to it, but being kind to ourselves in the midst. So there's a little acronym here. I'm full of acronyms today, but that people use. It's called RAIN, and it's recognize. So you recognize the emotion. A is the allow. Can you let it be here? From the perspective of mindfulness, whatever we're feeling is okay. I investigate, what am I feeling in my body right now? Heart racing, stomach clenched, jaw tight, so forth. And then the N has two parts. The one that's probably a little bit easier to think about is nurture. How can we be kind? Just bring kindness to ourselves for whatever we're feeling. And the other N is non-identification, which just means, can we have a little space, a little freedom? So it goes from being my emotion to the emotion that's moving through me.
Just to go back, because this has been a refrain from you, to show yourself kindness. Can you just talk about that with a little bit more granularity? What would that look like to show yourself kindness? Because for me, it might be have the extra Oreo, from a contemplative standpoint.
Yeah, great question, right? That quality, let's see, I don't want to say just for kids, because I know people who don't have kids, but that quality that you can bring to your pet or your dog or your cat or your child, that kindness that's really natural with all of us, or our best friend, that feeling that's within all of us, can we bring it to ourselves? And for some of us, even just the simple act of putting your hand on your chest and going okay, I'm here for myself. That is kindness. Or you might use some words like, I'll be okay, I'll get through this. May I know I'm cared for. Whatever words are helpful to you. It's just, we can be really specific with it. What do I need right now? It's something that I'll do is I'll check in with myself. I might put my hand on my chest and go, just need to know that I'm going to make it through. Okay. And I breathe and I feel that. And that feels incredibly kind.
Also the Oreos.
And then have some Oreos, lots of them, double stuff.
Diana, great job. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Jess, our overlord producer, can you weigh in and remind me who's the teacher tomorrow?
1 second. Let me just pull it up real fast.
So as we're wrapping up, I just want to say thank you to everybody who joins us. We really love you being here. You could do us a solid by sharing this with everybody you know and also subscribing to our YouTube channel. And our teacher tomorrow is?
Jeff Warren.
Oh, right. Jeff Warren, one of my favorite humans. He's on the show tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Diana, again, huge thank you. You're amazing. Thank you.
Oh, great to see Dan under these weird circumstances.
Yes. Okay, everybody, stay healthy, stay home. We'll see you back here tomorrow.